Quickshift.club. First Lexus and first hybrid. Welcome everybody to the NX300H. The front of the car has a very aggressive, but again a very typical Lexus family look. It's got a very nice big grille, and it's actually a lesson for other car makers how to integrate a very big grille into the front of the car. You have rear which function as matrix indicators as well, and you have LED headlights and fog lights that are positioned quite low in the car. Again, very some quirky features, but overall it's a very good looking car. It has some quirky bits. These don't open unlike the X4, and you have washers that actually stick out like a sore thumb. I wish this was better integrated. What is better integrated are the front parking sensors. At the first glance, you won't be able to find them at all. It took me a long while to find out where the parking sensors are, and even the front camera somewhere here is very beautifully integrated, and the way it works, it just helps you judge the size of the car so perfectly well. It did not stop at the front. The side profile is also so beautifully designed. Everywhere you look, there are cuts and creases. There's a hybrid badge to let you know that there's a hybrid. There's cladding to give you that S crossover touch, and you've got the floating roof design that looks very good. That means that there is a very thick C pillar, but overall the car looks really good. There's also a chrome line around the window to give it that Indian look, because Indians love the chrome touch. And overall the side profile is fantastically looking, complemented by 18-inch diamond cut alloys that are shot on Bridgestone Dwellers 265, 18 inches. Overall, again, as I said, the side profile looks really good. Not many people can pull off thick cladding and squarish wheel arches. This car pulls it off perfectly. Around taillights will bring you to the rear of the car, where Lexus designers have not stopped designing the car. You can find more cuts and creases in the rear to show that the Lexus designers really kept on designing the car till the end. Overall, this car is a very good looking car from any angle you see the car. In the rear, there are some cuts and creases. You do have the chiseled taillights, which are matrix and LED as well, which are really cool. You've got badging to know that it's a Lexus, because obviously this brand is not as popular as say Mercedes, BMW or Audi, so they need to know what badge it is. NX300H to let you know what car it is. The cladding carries forward to the rear, and you've got accents of chrome as well, because we Indians love chrome. Rear parking sensors are very well integrated, and overall it's a very stylish rear, complemented by a spoiler that has touches of the body color and integrations of black into the spoiler, which is again a very thoughtful addition by Lexus. Again, I cannot stop complimenting enough. This car looks good from all angles, and overall I'm sold on the design of this car. Lift the bonnet, which is lifted by struts, thankfully. You get access to the petrol plus hybrid motors. The petrol engine is a 2.5 liter engine that produces 153 bhp and 210 Nm of torque. When you couple the hybrid electric motors, the combined output is 194 bhp. But these hybrid motors are heavy, and overall the weight of the car is 1900 kgs. Yes, that's right, 1900 kgs. That's immense for a car of this size. But because of the hybrid motors, the electric power kicks in at low RPM. Make sure that this car does not get bogged down at any time. The beauty of the car, the Lexus designers could not stop designing. You can find creases, cuts everywhere around the interior, which I really like. It's a very busy interior, but maybe a tad too busy for people's liking. There are too many buttons, and this car feels the age inside. Nothing is touchscreen inside. This is not touchscreen, even though it's a very nice screen. The resolution is, I would not say iDrive level, but it's decent to get the job done. Anything you need to do, you need to use this haptic touch feedback, which is a nightmare, to be very honest. I really wish Lexus could, refine it in some way and make it more user friendly. Everything has a button. So these are the temperature. It's a dual zone air conditioner. So you have the fan speed, you have the direction of where you want the airflow. You've got AC vents, which are slightly unique, but I feel like they're focused too much on design than functionality. I mean, I wish it could target the air better. I'm not entirely satisfied with that. Then you've got this display, and if you have seen other expensive Toyotas like the Camry or the Prius, especially in India, or other cars, this you would find very familiar. It's the screen which lets you know which seats are empty, which seats don't have the seat belts buckled in. You've got the heated and ventilated seats, which is very nice. Thank God, not only heated seats. You've got a small awkward storage, which I'm still not able to figure out what you can put in. Maybe the key fob at best, but nothing else. There's an old school CD player, again, kind of shows the age of this car, because I think this car is due for a global refresh and India will get it too. So this has the CD player. Obviously it is complemented by the fabulous 14 speaker Mark 11 speaker setup, which sounds awesome, but more on that later. You have the gear lever, which again is the typical Toyota gearbox. You have to shuffle it around to get a gear dog. It's not the simple front and back. You've got the knob for changing the drive mode. There's Eco, Normal, Sport and Sport Plus. You've got the electric parking brake, you've got the auto hold, and you've got the EV mode. So you can drive this car on pure electric, but again, more on that later. Again, this center console is very wide. You've got a very nice armrest. Two people can easily put their arms. Again, no shortage of space on this car, which is typical with every Toyota. Toyota just knows, or Lexus, sorry, in this case, practically the same. But they know how to get the space right, and you never feel short of space in this car, because overall this car is not a very big SUV, but there is no shortage of space. It's just fabulously packaged. You have the steering wheel, which can remind you of the X Halo car they had, the LFA, similar design. You've got aluminium paddle shifters, and you've got switch gear on the steering to control the MID and the volume and the songs. Funny enough, the cruise control stuff feels cheap, and it feels something that other cheap Toyotas also have, which is a downer for me, but again, not a deal breaker. And you've got awkward switches here, which also feel very old school. The HUD switch and some other switches for, you know, adjusting the backlit instrumentation brightness. One party trick this car has is you can remove this and you have a fairly decent sized storage. We can put some coins, or you can hide some stuff. People might mistake this. This looks like a perfectly designed, you know, it keeps the flow of the interior so perfect. People would not guess that this is actually removable, and it's a storage. The all tan interior inside looks extremely good. There are perforated leather inside, which again looks really good. The seats themselves are magical. Honestly, it feels like you're sitting in the lap of somebody. It's so soft, so well bolstered, and you know, you've got this thick side bolsters. Again, I'm in love with the seats. One of the better seats I've sat in recent times. The seats are so comfortable and so soft. You can sit here for so long hours and you would not feel tired as well. Under thigh support is also fabulous, although it's not adjustable like some of its rivals, but it's just so fabulous and so comfortable. I'm a big fan of the seats of this car. I'm just totally sold. The armrest also opens. You have a wireless charger, which you can also flip up for a very large storage space. There is a 12-volt charging socket and two USB ports as well. Again, very nice additions, but I'm not very sure how this works, because every time I put my phone, it charges for 5 minutes and then it stops charging after that. So I don't know how this works exactly, but yeah, it's a very deep storage, and overall the interior is very nice crafted. The fit and finish and the stitching is top notch, second to none. I'm a big fan of Lexus' work. The rear seats are really nice. Obviously these are reclinable, and you can see electrically reclinable, but I can recline myself as well, so I can fold it, and this is really comfortable. You can really lie down, chill for the long road trips, and just enjoy. Under thigh support could be a little better, but the backrest recline is probably one of the best ones I've seen in any SUV crossover so far. You have a center armrest, which is it's at a very nice height. Press a button, you have cup holders, and overall, because of the huge panoramic roof and the big windows and the tan interiors, it's a very nice ambience. No claustrophobia, no nothing. It feels really good. It's luxurious and it feels really comfortable. I mean, overall it's a nice place to sit. You have two AC vents in the back, and you have only heated rear seats. Now this is a weird specification for India. I mean, for India, having only heated seats does not make sense, but in the front you have cooled and ventilated and heated seats, but this has only heated seats. It's pretty pointless to have this feature in the rear. Otherwise, again, you have seat pockets as well, so you can keep your knickknacks. I have some Lexus brochures. You can keep it in the back. Again, very useful, and it's a nice place to be overall. I think I'd totally recommend sitting in the back, unlike the X4. To get access to the tailgate, there are three ways. So one way is you can open from the key. The other way is you can open from a button near the driver door, and the third way is you can open through the electromagnetic tail release, which you press the button, and it takes its own sweet time to access it. Once you do open it, you realize that the loading lip is extremely high, abnormally high. This is because of the hybrid batteries that are under, and it has a full size spare. Yes, it does not have a space saver. Lexus did not do that cost cutting. compared to its German or European counterparts, if I can put it. Now the full-size pair, but the downside is that the loading lip is really high. As you can see, I have a backpack. It's about 475 liters of boot space. Because of the loading lip, it seems even smaller. It had potential, but either you have hybrid tech or you have a big boot. You can't have both. There is a parcel tray which is removable. The tailgate does open pretty high, I'm not gonna lie, but the mechanism itself is pretty slow. There's also a subwoofer. Now if you listen to a heavy bass music, your number plate frame is always going to rattle if you play a heavy bass, because the subwoofer is right on the tailgate. Otherwise, it's a pretty nice opening. You can put some luggage. If you remove the parcel tray, you can get a good access to the boot. One nifty feature if you want more boot space is press the button, and as you can see, the middle row folds. It's pretty slow again, but it gets the job done. It's pretty nifty actually. You don't have to manually fold it, and then you can lift it up by pressing the button as well. The same feature is available for the driver as well. There are two buttons here, driver to fold the seat as well. Very, very convenient and very useful feature by Lexus to include in this car. I am now behind the wheel of the Lexus NX300, and as you can guess, it's currently in EV mode. Hence, there are no vibrations, no noise at all. It's running on the hybrid batteries. Slot the gear lever, and you have to figure out the shifting sequence because it's a little wavy. You have to left, right, and put it down. But once you do that, set off. And I'm in EV mode right now. It's completely silent. It's like driving a complete electric vehicle. That's the cool part. You move along, and I'm still in EV mode. It stays in EV mode up to 50 kilometers per hour. There's the auto lock once you cross 20 kilometers per hour, and I'm in complete EV mode. It's just so effortless to drive. You know, there's no lag or anything. Then especially in electric mode, you don't feel the mass of the vehicle, and you can't feel it. But it's already transitioned into the petrol engine. Now the petrol engine is working. That's how beautifully, seamlessly it transitions. You'd be hard pressed at any time to tell. You really can't tell when the transition happens. It's working on its own in the background to make sure that the battery is working and the engine is working. Everything, you know, all the technology works in the background. You have no idea. Just a sign on the speedometer. When the EV mode, when it goes into EV mode, there's just a small sign on the left that tells you that it's in EV mode. Right now, the petrol motor is working as well. It's supremely refined. I mean, Toyota/Lexus know a thing or two about how to make refined cars, refined engines. It's just fabulous. It's so peaceful, so easy. Couple that with the comfortable seats, and the whole driving experience is easy. The correct word is easy, because this car is not the fastest car you'll find. It's 196 horsepower, but this car does weigh 1900 kgs. So it's not a scorcher. It's not the fastest car in the world, but it's easy. In-gear acceleration is superb, because even though this being a CVT and it has the transmission whine, the CVT whine, it does not have the rubber band effect, because the rubber band effect is masked beautifully by the electric power. Both motors work in tandem to keep the rubber band effect at bay. I mean, there's no head nod, no nothing. Obviously there's a CVT whine. If I floor it right now, so you can hear the engine, that's a CVT, because every CVT holds the revs all the time. But it's so seamless, so smooth. The power delivery is so linear. I mean, this car is a perfect daily driver. Honestly, you don't need anything more than this in daily driving. As you saw, body roll is there. It's existent during corners. Steering feel, again, not the best. It's direct, but it's on the lighter side. I mean, especially even if you have the drive modes and everything. Suppose I'm in normal right now. If I put into sport or sport plus, the engine feels more sprightly, no doubt about that. But the chassis isn't the one to be pushed around. You can push it. Body roll is there because obviously it is a crossover and it has high center of gravity. It has good ground clearance. It's almost, I think, 190 mm or 200 mm, which is pretty good. Nothing can stop you. No obstacle in there will stop you. You can clear everything. But the handling is still pretty tight. Maybe that could be because of the weight. It feels more planted due to the weight of the car. But overall, it handles well. Steering feel isn't the best, but again, no Lexus has been ever known to be the best handling car unless it's the F, the RCF or the LFA or anything. But it's just nice. It's something you won't complain. because the whole car's attitude is laid back. Everything is laid back. So you won't complain that this car isn't a good handler, it's not the fastest car or anything. It just feels nice, comfy, cozy. You would want to drive this hundreds of kilometers every day, and you'd be able to do it easily, because if you drive it sanely, you get amazing fuel economy with the hybrid and the petrol engine working in tandem. It works fabulously well. I was getting up to 14-15 kilometers per liter in the city. When I did hit really bad traffic, extremely bad traffic, it took me 2.5 hours almost to cover about 50 kilometers, and it still gave me a respectable 11.812 kilometers per liter, which is pretty respectable for a car of this heft and size. That's the hybrid tech for you. It works really well. Overall, I mean, it's a true joy, honestly, this package, and I'm surprised I liked it so much. It's so livable, and I mean, I would totally daily drive this every day. In conclusion then, the Lexus NX300H, it has a lot of things going for it. I think it looks amazing. It stands on the road, especially with this color. It looks really good. It's got a lot of features. It rides really well. It's fuel efficient. The interior fit and finish is absolutely awesome, on par with its counterparts and its rivals. Interior space is really good. The ride is really good, and it's fuel efficient because of the hybrid. There are some downsides though. Downsides are that it's not very fast because of the weight. The boot isn't the biggest because of the battery pack, and the brakes, although the brakes are good, the pedal feel is slightly on the bad side. But starting at 58.2 lakhs ex showroom, it's a decision you would have to make by your heart. Would you make that decision? You'd have to see, because I definitely would get this any day. It's a decision I would take with my heart every day of the year, all my life. That's how much I really enjoyed, and the whole appeal of the car, which I never thought I'd do. The comfort and the luxury. Not every car is meant to do 0 to 100 in 5 seconds or 6 seconds. Sometimes you just need calm, peace and relax. This is what this car is, and it worked well for me. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.